history lesson for today. So the term Kegel was named after a male gynecologist. All right, here's your history lesson for today. So the term Kegel was named after a male gynecologist in the 1940s or so. And I feel like it's a pretty outdated term. First of all, we don't need to be naming exercises that predominantly women are talking about after male gynecologists. And second, a lot has changed since the 1940s, and we have a way better understanding of how these muscles work. And the idea that just contracting them will solve your problem it's just not a very thorough approach. So if you had knee pain, and I said, you know what you should do? You should just tighten the muscles around your knee. That's all you need. It'll be fine. Wouldn't you be like, well, what about my hip? Or what about my foot? Or do I need to practice squatting or going up and down stairs? Or is there other considerations that I need to have? Of course, there are other considerations for knee pain. Likewise, there are other considerations for pelvic floor problems. So when somebody says to me, and I have these conversations a lot, Kegels don't work for me, then my question is, well, what does that actually mean to you? If somebody taught you to contract, or if you've been working on what is a Kegel in your mind, did you also learn to relax? Or did you include that contraction with your exhale? Or did you include a relaxation with your inhale? Did you consider the role of your feet or your hips or your abs or your rib cage mobility, or all of these other factors that we need to consider, because pelvic floors don't function by themselves. And it might be actually that your pelvic floor is doing everything right, but this other part of your body is throwing you off. Or it might be that you can't get a good contraction of your pelvic floor because this other part of your body is not doing enough, working too hard, putting you in a disadvantageous position. And so there's so much more that we need to consider. So if you're trying to solve these problems in your body, this is exactly what I teach in my online program. So I'll put a link up here, but you want to consider what your current function is and what other options are so that you can experiment and find out what works in your body. You might have to consider your breathing, your alignment, your ab function, your hip function, your foot function, your upper body, etc. If you feel like you'd like to be having one of these conversations to talk through what might be the next best step for you, there's a link in my bio for a free 20-minute clarity call. We can talk through these ideas. I will be having a sale at New Year's. Get on my email list for the best discounted rates on my online program. But I also had lots of questions in my comments about how to relax your posterior pelvic floor. So the backside around your anus. And it's a lot about positioning and inhaling into that tight space. And then once you can create the length in that part of your body, then we need to figure out, well, what new strategy do you need? Because your current strategy is creating your current results, and it's creating this tightness in the back of your pelvic floor. So in order to change that, first you want to create length. You want to use your breath and positioning to elongate those muscles. But then what are we going to do instead so that we don't keep recreating this and keep going in this same cycle of tightening and lengthening? What are we going to do differently so that that doesn't keep happening? And that's what is covered in my online program, to help you dive deeper and to not just fix these problems on a temporary basis, but to come up with a long-term solution so you don't keep going around and around with the same problems. But the post about lengthening those muscles, be sure you use your inhale along with the positioning, is coming up next. Here's the positionings.